Hi everyone, this is New Sensei. Many people ask the question, is it possible to shoot the bow sideways? Yes, you can. And with some practice, you could become fairly consistent. In fact, most people who are new to archery are most familiar with this style of shooting. While you will see many archers shoot like this or like this, why don't you see archers shoot like this? The problem with the sideways bow is that there's no real way to aim. I can't lift the bow high enough to use the shaft as a reference point because my arm's in the way, and I can't really touch a consistent anchor point. While I can draw it back to my chest and shoot like this, I can't really touch a point on my face, which brings the arrow closer to my eyes, unless I really bend my head like this. And I can shoot like this, but that is not exactly the most comfortable thing to do. So this isn't actually dangerous if you're wondering. It's completely safe. Nothing bad will happen to the bow or the arrow or the shooter. So this is completely safe to do. Is there a point to it? Well, I don't think so, but it's safe. It just really changes the way you try to shoot. And like I said, this becomes something that is purely instinctive. You have no real way to aim. You basically look at the target, align, and you shoot. Sometimes you shoot accurately, sometimes you won't. With practice, you can reduce that spread and shoot reasonable and get groupings, but that's something which is very hard to do. Ow! That can also happen as well. You're more likely to hit your own arm because you're bringing it quite high and close to where your arm is. And it is possible to shoot well enough. That's the same with all forms of instinctive archery. You practice enough, you can shoot things. And this is a fundamental part of a lot of the trick shooting, which you might recognize from Lars Anderson. So you can shoot the bow from different positions, and the horizontal bow is no different. And of course you combine it with things like walking backwards. Yeah, works fine. In some ways this is more instinctive than instinctive archery, and it's completely safe. The arrow doesn't behave in a random way which you can't predict. It's basically the same as canting the bow, but to an extreme level. So if you can compensate for where the arrow goes, you'll be fine. And like I said, the main difficulty I have is that you can't aim using the point of the arrow, nor do you have a really good consistent anchor point. You're basically just drawing to your chest and letting go. And that's not the most accurate way to shoot. Historically, a lot of the ancient archers, like pre-medieval, would draw to the belly. So this would probably be fairly normal actually. But of course, when we start seeing the rise of medieval archery, especially in England, we start seeing a change in the way archers shot. So it's more drawn to the ear rather than to the belly. But this would be usable. And in fact, some tribes and cultures do use this form of shooting. So it's not completely wrong. It's not unusual. And like I said, you can shoot with this with some practice. And I'm shooting from 5 meters away. I've got around like 5 or 6 arrows in the gold from here. So it's possible. But is it easy? No. Another minor consideration is the way the arrow interacts with the bow. With consideration to the archer's paradox, where the arrow must flex around the bow and oscillates in flight, then someone who's shooting from a canter position or from a sideways position will see that the arrow will fly somewhat differently. So you go from perhaps a left to right arc to a diagonal arc to what is now an upward arc straight down, because the arrow is now oscillating up and down rather than left to right. And this is really important for the modern bows and target shooters, where you want to maintain that straight bow to remove those variables. I should note that most modern bow designs, even the traditional bows, have this window cut out from the riser, which allows the archer to see the target just fine, plus it brings the arrow closer to the center of the bow, thereby negating much of the need for the archer's paradox. By the way, in case you're wondering, yes, this kind of bow can be shot sideways. In summary, yes, it is possible to shoot the bow sideways. Yes, it is safe, and yes, some people would have used it historically. Can it be done well? To an extent, yes, but it's not the most natural way to use a bow. The most practical reason why I would imagine someone using this style of shooting is if there was some kind of obstruction overhead, like a low-lying branch. Otherwise, most people would shoot from a vertical or a canted position. And that's what most of our historical sources say, both in written and visual form. I imagine that an archer that is well trained would be able to adapt the shooting technique for the situation, but it probably wouldn't be the normal way to shoot. Anyway, this is New Sensei. Hope you found this interesting. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.